We got Zach. Where's Zach? There is Zach gonna jump on? I feel like he's turning his camera on. Cool. He's got almost a better setup than me. Um, I have a cool circle microphone, so
You use a
that's
circle?
it's called the Snowball.
I'm gonna have to go on Amazon and get one of those.
It was only $40. I feel like it's got good quality sound for being only $40.
Sound amazing.
Yeah, I have a $250 Shure, and it was not as good as this one. So go figure.
You always have to wear
Uh,
headphones with the other ones because they pick up too much noise.
oh yeah. So Zach, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Zach is a former U.S. Air Force special agent turned realtor, and he's focused on local community above all else in his real estate business. And during COVID, Zach and his business partner decided to add the perfect vertical to their real estate business, solar, and it's been one of the best decisions he's ever made business wise. So, thanks for being here, man. We appreciate you. Do you want to go ahead and share your screen and teach us a little bit about? Because I mean, the
Absolutely.
thing with solar is like there's so much there's so much talk about solar. Like, is it good? Does it add value? Does it not add value? Like, is it worth it? How does the energy, all that stuff work, right? Like, people are so confused by like whether or not it's a good investment. It's something that I contemplated a while back. But yeah, why don't you just quickly before you share your screen and tell us about your business, what made you decide to just to jump into solar?
Yeah, so about 3 years ago, so my business partner came to me about 3 years ago and he said, "Hey man, let's add solar to our real estate business." And I said, "No, absolutely not." I get the heck out of here. Absolutely not. And then what ended up happening is my solar went out on my house. My house had paid off solar and I bought it, and my inverter went out, about 15 years old. And I called up my business partner. I said, "Hey, Nick, can that stupid solar company you're working with come and fix my system?" And he used that as an opportunity to get me to actually look at the model and look at the business and look at everything. And I realized, oh my God, I should have been doing this the whole time I was selling real estate. Because how many of our clients in real estate come to us and they say, "Hey, who do you recommend for bleh, whatever bleh is, right? A plumber, an electrician, a this, a that."
Yeah.
We oftentimes, as real estate agents, farm all this business out, and there's no reason for us to not really be getting a cut of it. And the cool part about solar is I had a client, I sold their house down here in Southern California. They moved to Virginia. So I sold their house, got a commission, got a referral commission in Virginia, and then they bought solar from me in Virginia as well. So, I mean,
Oh,
it's just, I don't ever have to I could sell you solar right now, Nick. I don't need to set foot in your house. I can do it
that's
completely
pretty
remotely.
awesome.
And that's the coolest part about this is our clients are going solar with or without us. We can either capitalize on it or we can let them get ripped off by somebody else.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm seeing a lot more solar than I used to. I feel like it's one of those things like because I remember when I had a solar, I had a solar estimate. The guy came over, this was before COVID, and he had all of this like stuff in front of me. But now you're saying like you can just sell this from the comfort of your home to anyone in the country.
The only reason that I go to somebody's house to sell them solar is if they have a really cool house and I want to go see the house. That's pretty much it.
To see
Otherwise, I
how the
sit
other
right
ones
here in
live.
this chair and do it.
That's awesome because it's probably, and if someone shows up to a Zoom meeting, like, they're probably pretty motivated and you can probably, share your screen and show them all the things that so did you start your own solar company or did you
So
join a solar company?
So a little of both. So me and my business partner started our own company, but we also work as brokers. So with solar, the licensing is way different than real estate. I have that in my slides. And so what we do is we have a main company that we work with called Power, and then we do broker with a few other companies as well in the event that it's a commercial deal or it's in a state that Power doesn't cover. Fortunately, with solar, it's very, very easy. It's not like real estate where it's like you have to join the brokerages and pay all these dues and fees and pass massive tests. It's like I could call a company today in Montana and say, "Hey man, I got a lead in Montana," and I set up a red line with them or a split with them, and I refer the lead over and I get paid.
Okay, I love it. So, do you want to show us you
Yeah,
have slides you want to show?
yeah, of course, of course.
All right, go
So,
ahead.
awesome. So, all right. So, thanks everybody for being on here today. TST is actually my solar team that we started. We called ourselves the Solar Team because we thought it was funny because there was all these teams with goofy solar names, and we just called ourselves the Solar Team. And of course, I did update my logo to reflect that Zachary Bach Real Estate and Solar on
That's
there.
cool.
right? I like it. There's some stuff in here. I got my, prior
So it's
long.
kind of like, hey, what's that solar team? Yeah, that's them.
The it's the solar team. Exactly.
Hmm.
So,
I've
so
always wanted to open a I always wanted to open a bar called That Bar,
that bar, do it,
where people
do
would
it.
go, "Hey, let's go to that bar."
I
Okay,
think
cool.
everybody would agree in the chat that it sounds like that bar would be the perfect side hustle for a real estate agent that actually makes money.
I don't think running a restaurant is full time.
Right, exactly. So, a little background on myself. Nick already talked about the fact that I was in the Air Force. My sales journey started when I was in Boy Scouts selling sea candy and popcorn. That's what made me a salesperson. Right here, this is a picture of me at a Sprint call center. Yes, my hair is dyed black and I'm wearing puka shells. This is me selling cars. I did that for 6 years. Then I went in the Air Force, came out of the Air Force, spent 6 years active duty, and then spent 6 years in the reserves and transitioned over to real estate. And then here's me actually holding a solar panel on my own roof as I was helping with my install. Now, don't worry, real estate agents, you don't actually have to climb on roofs and help with installs. I just wanted the picture. I just wanted the photo op on there. So I've sold a lot of stuff to a lot of people in a lot of places, a lot of products, sold computers, I've sold cars, I've sold phones, I have sold real estate, and now solar. And it's all, everything is kind of built on each other. Now, how big is the opportunity with solar? There are about 5.4 million houses that have gone zero down solar in the United States out of 90 million eligible houses. And so there is a massive amount of opportunity in solar. It is wild. And what we're also
Wow.
seeing is we're seeing older systems get ripped off roofs at this point. Last year, every 54 seconds. So since this call has been happening, 38 homeowners have gone solar in the US.
Wow.
Pretty crazy, right? And when you look at some of the data here, the solar industry employs 280,000 people. In 2024 alone, there was a $70 billion investment in solar. By they're saying by 2030, 14% of US homes will have solar on them. And they've seen a 28% average market growth. So solar is expanding, whether we like it or not. Whether some people, are very anti-renewables, it's going to continue to expand. And it's one of those things that we either get behind it, especially as real estate agents, and we choose to understand it because our clients are going to go solar with or without us. Now, is it perfect for every state? Of course not, right? There's some places that it's not going to be perfect for, but it's good in a lot of them. So, why are we winning? Nick and I kind of already talked about this. It's platform based. I don't need to go door knocking and sit in people's houses and flip an iPad around and slide it across the table at them to get them to sign a solar contract. We do consultative selling. And then additionally, as you can see here, the price of solar has come down significantly in the last, about 50 years, to the point now where it is so affordable that we can pretty much save everybody money on their bill. Of course, it depends on the state that they're in. This slide here, this shows the national average. Now, the states that are green are usually the states where the utility costs are pretty low, and solar might not necessarily make sense. But what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of states transition over to yellow, orange, dark orange, and then red. And then some states are deep red: California, Alaska, Hawaii, Connecticut, Mass, all of New England as a whole. And what's crazy about New England is they don't get a lot of sun in certain times of the year, but the incentives to go solar are absolute insanity. We quoted a system in Maine, and it was a $61,000 solar system. Now, Maine uses what's called a Massachusetts SREC, and an SREC is just basically kind of a rebate program. And after the federal tax credit of 30%, and after the Maine SREC, the $61,000 solar system was negative $2,000. So the homeowner is going to get paid $2,000 to go solar, which is
That's funny.
bananas. Right? That's bananas. In Washington, D.C., same thing. Now, some states don't really have incentives. California is an example. We really don't have any special incentives in California. But because our utility costs are so high in California, I just sold a solar system last night, actually. The guy's average utility bill, $750 a month.
Wow.
His solar payment, $495 a month with 2 Tesla batteries and a Tesla expansion. And I think I put 41 solar panels on his roof.
You got how many?
40, I think it was 41. I'd have to look back and see.
So
It's a
this is
lot.
a big house.
It's actually, it's crazy. It's not even that big of a house. It's in Glendale. It's only like an 1,800 square foot house, but he has
Okay.
servers and all kinds of stuff that he runs out of it. Now, here's one kind of crazy thing is you look at Florida down here. Florida's a yellow state when it comes to this. So that means that their utility costs are kind of on average. I think they're
Real
probably going to
quick, Zach,
go
someone's
ahead.
asking, okay, so what do the colors mean? So green
Yeah.
means
So green means low utility costs. So your national average is 16.57 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, let me just kind of explain how that works. I'm going to use air conditioners as an example. An air conditioner uses about 3 to 5 kilowatt hours of electricity for every hour that it's running. So nationally, if you're running an air conditioner, right? So let's just round this down to 15. You're going to use 45 cents an hour to run an air conditioner, is how that
wow.
works. Yeah. So in these states that are green, that means that it's low, like maybe 10 to 12 cents a kilowatt hour. California is closer to 36 cents a kilowatt hour. Hawaii's over 40. And so red means high utility costs for homeowners.
Okay.
In these red states, people's second highest bill behind their mortgage is probably their electric bill,
Wow.
realistically.
Okay.
Now, here's the
Well,
crazy
that
part.
makes sense considering there's ACs running all the time in
All the
California,
time,
right?
all the time, especially Southern California. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next slide, though, is the crazy one. Look at Florida now. Florida just turned red. Now, this slide signifies places with high utility bills. So Florida, kind of same thing as California, running their air conditioners all the time. Texas, air conditioners all the time. Arizona, air conditioners all the time. So what this signifies is high utility bill. And a lot of these places are also high utility cost. So it's really, really crazy, when you start looking at some of these states like West Virginia, right, where they have high utility costs, but they're really just kind of an orange state on everything. So, our customers on the real estate side are feeling this, and they're looking for answers. And when we know this kind of data coming into it, what it allows us to do is protect our clients. When our clients say to us, in 2 or 3 months, and they go, "Hey, Zach, man, I can't. My electric bill was $500 last month. Who do you recommend for solar?" What I was doing for years was I was saying, "Oh God, I don't know. I can't recommend anybody. I don't go to Costco. I don't know. I don't go. No, I don't."
Right.
And now what it allows me to do is give my clients a solution. Right. So let's talk about the money real quick, because I think that's important.
Yeah.
So there's kind of two ways that to make money in solar. Number one is just setting appointments for closers, right? So the closers that we have are all people with tons of years of solar experience, and real estate agents can just get paid. You can get paid just to set an appointment, and you can also get paid on the install. Now these are averages, and this is the amount of appointments somebody sets. So if somebody who's like super full time, they make more money, of course. But on average, $2,000 to $3,000 is what a real estate agent could make just by passing a client over to a solar closer and
Oh,
letting them
wow.
handle it. The realtor gets a little bit of money up front, and then they can also get paid when the installation happens. The national average is 30 to 90 days for a solar install, depending on the market, the municipality, and stuff like that. And then there's also an option in solar just to close your own deals. And when you close your own deals, the average commission is about $7,000 nationally.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Nick. That was the reaction that I had when Spencer told me about this, and I didn't know anything about it. And I went
I
and I
mean,
actually
that's
looked
the average. That's like a house commission, really.
from a percentage standpoint. We make more in solar than we do in real estate.
You,
It's wild.
your experience right now is that's what's happening?
100%. Yeah. From
Wow.
if I look at a real estate deal, right, a solar deal, you can make easily 15 to 30%, depending on the area that you're selling in, of the total
Okay.
project cost. So you sell $100,000 solar system, you could make $15 to $30,000 on that system. You sell $100,000 house, we're making what, $2,500, maybe two or three
Yeah.
thousand
Wow.
bucks.
Okay.
So it's wild. Then of course the power of the company that we work with, they work on a sliding scale. So the more projects you sell, the more money you make. So very, very
Okay.
easy. And then they have all kinds of stuff, when it comes to training, when it comes to lead gen strategies. And what I started realizing is, when I was developing the slide, all of these are ways that I was teaching real estate agents to generate
Yeah,
leads.
I was just gonna say, like, uh this looks like a perfect side business or full-time business, really, um, for a real estate agent because this is all the stuff that we do anyway, or we're supposed to
That's
be doing.
exactly it. So somebody walks into your open house and they say, I've had realtors walk into my open house with their client and they say, "Hey, this is my client," and maybe the house isn't right for them. Right? It's not the right open house. We've all experienced that. But their real estate agent, I have a conversation with them and I say, "Hey, Nick, man, is your client going to go solar on their new house?" And they say, "Well, maybe." "Well, hey, Nick, would you want to earn a referral commission if your client goes solar and you refer them over to me for the solar system?" And the realtor goes, "Wait, what? You'll pay me?" "Yeah, heck yeah, I'll pay you." Right. And so there's lots of really cool ways that we do this. And it's just wild. It's wild. And, that these are the states that I kind of focus on. These are the states that power covers. Nothing against, some of the other states. They're just not, the incentives sometimes aren't there with what's called net metering. And I'm not going to get too much in the weeds with that right now. But these blue states are the ones that power covers, and they're the most
Okay.
lucrative states. Now, we do have relationships in other states as well, like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and stuff like that. And so, it's pretty wild, the amount of business that we can really do nationally with this.
Do you
Um,
have to be living in one of those states in order to? Okay, you
no,
don't. Okay, because I'm
no. And
looking at
there's
Michigan.
only 4 states that require a solar license, and I'll cover that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yep. This is our number one, though, is the ambassador program. So this is what we focus on as a team. One of my team members, Jordan, he's at a real estate office today. He's heading to a Century 21 office to sign up their entire office as ambassadors, where these real estate agents are all going to get paid $1,000 just to refer business. Now some of the realtors will probably sign up to make more money, to make the half the commission, but some realtors, they don't want to do that. They're like, hey, here, take the lead, talk to my client. I don't want anything to do with it. You handle it all. Pay me $1,000 when it installs. We also use this for plumbers, electricians, roofers, mortgage officers, nonprofits and charities. We sign the nonprofit up as an ambassador. So anybody that comes from the nonprofit, we pay them $1,000. This is probably our biggest way that we generate business. This is the coolest part about this. Everybody that's on this call, real estate agents, we know that if our client refers us a real estate lead, I can't give my client $1,000. Right? We got a little thing called the RESPA. With solar, you can. And so all of a sudden, what we're able to do is say to our clients, hey, if you know somebody, we can refer, we'll pay you $1,000 referral fee. And so it's really, really cool how we're able to do that with the ambassador program. Now, the $1,000 comes out of the margin. So if we were making 10,000, now we're making 9,000, but I'll pay $1,000 for $9,000 all day long. I like this slide because it just shows kind of the growth curve of the company. They're a $1 billion company that we work with now, our primary company, and they've just been growing exponentially. They've actually paid out over $225 million in commissions. So they're not a small company by any means. And so it's pretty wild what we're able to do. And then additionally, they're also a B Corp. For those that don't know what a B Corp is, it's kind of like a for-profit and a nonprofit had a baby. That's a B Corp. It's a company that does a lot of good with the money that they make, and they are held to a higher standard than most other companies. So there's kind of 3 paths that people can choose when it comes to selling solar. Number one, well, I guess there's 4 if you count ambassador, but the 3 main ones is setter, and this is just passing it off. So this is Nick calls me, says, hey, Zach, man, one of my clients is relocating to Florida. They're thinking about solar. Okay, cool. Nick basically just refers the client over to me. He collects the utility bill from the client. He sends it over. Done. He can get the sit pay. He's got access to all of our training materials, all of our stuff. Don't have to close. There's a team building aspect if you wanted a team build. And then there's also stock options. The next is to be a seller. This is basically self-generating and self-closing your own deals. There's a qualification on this. Either you're a 1-year solar pro, so you've been in solar for a year, or you do 3 deals as a setter with one of our closing partners. Closing partners are people that basically get leads handed to them on a silver platter. They say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm handing it to a closing partner. I saw somebody ask about costs in the chat. There are no costs unless you're a closing partner. Closing partners pay $85 for like a platform license. But other than that, there's no costs when it comes to this. Unless you're in California, Maryland, Connecticut, or DC. These 4 states have a license. The California license is like $400, but it's not like a real estate license. It's literally you do a live scan, you fill out some stuff, and then you get a card in the mail that's called a home improvement salesperson license. And that's pretty much it. Maryland, Connecticut, DC, they're less than that. It takes a couple months to get it. Nevada's a W-2 state for solar now. So if you're selling in Vegas or you're a realtor in Vegas, Vegas is a wild market. We can install solar in less than about 20 days in Vegas right now, which is nuts from contract to installation. But the closer has to be W-2. Now, on the licensing, you only need that if you're going to close deals. If you're just generating business and handing it over, you don't have to get a license. You can literally call me up, say, hey, Zach, I got a client in California. You pass the lead over and you get paid when it installs. There's some other softwares that we use with various things. I'm going to touch on Reach real quick on here. Everybody that's on here, Reach is a phenomenal app if you've never used it. It's a mass texting app where you can text from your phone. It's free, or it's $7 a month. We use that pretty frequently. And then there's other stuff that can sometimes pop up, but it's nothing too crazy when it comes to these things.
So like if I were wanted to be a setter, if I wanted to be a what is it, a setter or like
Hmm.
someone who just sends you business, is that what it is?
Yep.
So like, does a setter have to set the appointment, or does a setter like have if they know of someone who's interested and they say to that person, "Hey, I'm going to have Zach reach out to you." Is that kind of what that is?
You can kind of do it either way. Most of our closers, what they're going to ask you to do is you get your own portal, your own lead, your own all that stuff.
Okay,
If you log in, you would choose the closer, and we got a bunch of them. You choose the closer, you go to their calendar and you book it on their calendar. It takes
got it.
maybe 5 minutes to put the lead in the system. Now, do you have to show up for the appointment? No, you don't have to. Now, I generally recommend it because it's good to do the warm handoff at least for like the first 5 minutes. Of course, we don't call
Yeah.
them closers to our clients; we call them design engineers.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
We're gonna
gonna hook you with a
we're gonna get
closer.
you on, yeah, we're gonna get you on the phone with our closer,
Yeah, very much Wolf of Wall Street
with
style.
our hard closer.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
This is the car sales guy.
you,
Uh,
I gotta talk to my wife. I'm guessing you've been married for a while, Zach, right? If you did something that your wife knew that was gonna be a addition to, yeah, I love that one. Okay, so my question is like, if I wanted to, be a setter,
mhm.
I could get like they give you marketing materials, right?
Oh yeah.
So if I wanted to like run campaigns on social media for solar, and I have all of this info, I can get these leads coming in. If I want to reach out to these people and set these appointments for you, I can do that. And then if they close, then I get a commission.
Yeah, so I just opened it real quick. So yeah, they have a full marketing suite, Nick,
Oh,
where
wow.
like you get a web page that is designed completely for you. It's a ClickFunnels style website. So like you're really good at social media. You're really good at stuff that I'm not
Oh, I
because you're
like
way
this
smarter than
idea.
me. So all of this is already done. They can click right here to get a quote. They have an entire, so there's a bunch of websites. There's like t-shirts and stuff. There's pixel integration. They have in Spanish.
Oh my
And then they
God.
also have fully built out marketing material where you can come in and be like, hey, I want a flyer, right? And throw some, flyers in your car and talk to people at the gas station or whatnot. And so it's really cool. Everything is completely designed by a professional marketing team. So we don't
Holy
have to worry
smokes.
about
This is cool.
yep.
I'm gonna have to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah, no, it's wild, man. They also have a full knowledge base here. This is probably one of my favorite things. This is like Google for solar. So I could come in here and say, like my client that was relocating to Virginia, I can come in here, I can click on Virginia, and then this has basically everything that I need to know about selling solar in Virginia. And so it's
Oh,
really wild. It's nuts, man. When I sold my deal in Hawaii, I immediately came in here and learned everything that I needed to know about selling in Hawaii.
oh,
They also
right.
put install maps up where we can come in and show people. Of course, it's taking a second to load because I'm on Zoom. Where we can show people how many installs we've done in that area. We can show them what actual installs look like. Um, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So this isn't loading right now, but it's just taking a minute. So yeah, so they dropped the link in the chat. It's realestate.tstpros.com is kind of our thing that where people can go. They can register on there and then we'll reach out and set times to talk to real estate agents about doing it. Um, yeah.
Let me see. Okay, so Christopher is asking, is there no disclosure to the consumer what the payout is to the sales rep? I'm not sure if I
Nope.
follow that, but
No, you're thinking so you're almost thinking like a like a loan disclosure or something like that with real estate. No, there's not nothing.
okay. And if you want to be a setter, like what are the, you said there's no certification other than like a certain handful of states. I mean, what's the bare bones minimum that you like really have to know? Like what are the questions that are typically asked,
Hmm.
and origin like initially probably like how much money can I save or
Yeah.
what's it going to
So
do to
there's
my
so
roof or
Power's got some certifications. They're about 15 minutes long, but there's no like state certs or licensing. So
okay.
Power has all of that built in to the training where you can come in and get trained up immediately. And it's very easy. We have some other stuff on our team too, where I literally have a Google Doc that's I just got my first client. What the hell do I do? To
Oh
explain to
yeah, yeah,
somebody,
right.
when you have somebody interested and it's literally just a how you walk through and everything you need to ask the client and all that kind of stuff.
This is super cool. Like you've kind of turned me on to this. I'm gonna Case, our director of operations for lab coats, she messaged me. She's like, "I'll connect you with Zach through email," because she heard me like getting all super interested in it. Um,
Some
yeah, because
questions.
I think that would be a pretty sweet. Like, imagine making like a couple $1,000 a month, just like sending, like, not even like you don't have to do anything. You just say, "Hey, do you want to talk to Zach?" He can probably answer most of those questions for you, basically.
And you can track your leads too. That's the cool part is when you put the lead in the system, right? So I put you in the system and I hooked you with one of my closers. I can see where in the process it is the whole time. So I know when I'm going to get paid. I know how much I'm going to get paid. There's full transparency on commissions, on the cost of goods, how much are the panels costing, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not just like pass it to the closer. Like we've all been there with we passed a referral in real estate to another state and we're like, wonder what's going on with my clients. We're calling our clients, we're calling the agent. With this, it's super cool because you pass the referral and you can just sit there and watch it and know exactly what's happening with it.
Hey Valerie, we'll be right with you, okay? Just 2 more minutes or so. Okay, and so someone's asking, how do you handle how do you handle someone who has like an older roof
Yeah,
or
we can do roofing. So we can roll roofing in to the solar deal. So power in particular, they have a whole roofing division. So if somebody needs a roof and we know that, we can roll that right into the solar payment. And
okay.
it's oftentimes in certain states, especially those deep red expensive states, it's more affordable with a roof and solar than what their electric payment is right now with the utility company.
Awesome. This is great. So if someone wants to reach out to you, how would they do that?
Yeah, so they can go to realestate.tstpros.com and just register on there. Of course, you can reach out to me directly. I'll drop my cell phone number in the chat. Just text me first. Anybody's welcome to reach out to me about that. I would ask just go to the site first, and that way we can make sure. Couple of years, I still do real estate. It's been a hard market though. It's been a crazy
Oh,
market with
dude.
real estate. I got 4 kids. I got a 12-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 2-month-old. And
Oh my
it's been
God.
it's been a wild couple of years for me. And so it's been cool because this has allowed me, like right now, to work from home. After this call, I'm going to head downstairs and take the baby from my wife for a little while, right? And help her out. And the biggest thing, Jose, somebody says, how do you juggle both? As with any of these side hustles, you've got to time block. You've got to make sure that you're dedicating time to both, and that you're not just flying by the seat of your pants. You need to be married to your calendar is one of the biggest things.
Yeah, it's a good piece of advice. So I just dropped realestate.tstpros.com in the chat. I'm just gonna open this up here real quick. Um, because I think I might do the at least for now do the setter thing because I think I could do some cool social media marketing with that specifically. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Um, Alicia, did solar become a lien? So it depends on the type of loan that they do. They can finance it like traditional financing, just like a house, 25-year loan, up to 25 years, I can say. They can do a lease, they can do a PPA. In California and Florida, you can do what's called a PACE loan, hero loan. Um, and then they can also just go and do a HELOC. They could do a second. They could do a lot of credit unions have solar financing. So there's a bunch of ways to be able to get out there and finance it and stuff like that. Derek has tariffs. Yeah, they will. Costs are going to go up. But thankfully, there's enough margin built into solar that we can still beat the utility companies, even with the tariffs and some of the rate increases or some of the increases. But the increases in solar are going to be temporary until domestic manufacturing really spends up. Two of the biggest solar companies, Jinko and QCell, have U.S. based manufacturing. And so we're going to start really seeing those costs come down, at least with the U.S. based product.
Awesome. There are a few more questions, but reach out to Zach if you do
Yeah,
want to chat more because we got to move on. But Zach, appreciate you. I just dropped I'll drop it again in the chat if you want to reach out to him. Realestate.tstpros.com. Awesome. This is very informative. Appreciate it, Zach.
excellent. Appreciate you having me on, Nick. Thank you so much, Labco team. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll see you soon.